So we're going to start off with I wanted to give you an overview of what we'll be talking about for the rest of the portion of our time together. And so tonight we're focusing on Cloverbuds, and we're going to kick it off with a little bit of a refresher on positive youth development, often referred to in our world as PYD. And then we'll head into an exciting platform that we're using here in Vermont that we would love to throw open the doors to all of you to include your Cloverbud families. And that's called Cloverbuds Connect. And Kimberly, my colleague, will walk you through a platform called Flipgrid. And Cloverbud families can use that to participate in the activities that are available there. And then there's another layer. If many of you are missing working with your Cloverbuds, perhaps you really get excited to create an activity and share that out with your youth. We have an opportunity for you to potentially share a cool activity with families across the Northeast. So we'd love to invite you to that. And then of course, we'll leave some time for Q&A, and then we'll get back together for that large group activity with a share out. So just a few words on why do we work with Cloverbuds? Because they're the coolest, they're wicked fun, and they're super cute. All those personal reasons and more, but also because we know that youth at this age, we're really setting a foundation for them. We're setting a foundation for their future development and for their learning. So the experiences that they collect right now can help them in how they develop mentally, physically, socially, and emotionally, and really looking at them as a whole human being. And so the goals of the Cloverbud program are to help them build their self-esteem, increase their self-awareness, and help give them experiences where they can socially interact with one another, learning all of those social cues, how to get along with their peers, how they can make decisions for themselves through different activities by giving them choice within activities. And also learning new skills, of course, that's a feature of 4-H at any level through our project work with youth. And then finally, youth in this age are definitely still developing a lot of their fine motor skills and coordination, so including some physical skills as well. And one way that we achieve these goals in the Cloverbud program, which is part of my favorite thing about working with Cloverbuds, is through creativity and play. So creativity and play are the cornerstone of the Cloverbud program. Play is really the work of children. It allows children to develop their imagination, things like dexterity. It also helps to promote healthy brain development. And play allows children to create and explore the world around them. So they can learn to master things and conquer fears. Sometimes we see them practicing adult roles. So practicing, like going into imaginary play of pretending they're different occupations. And as we see them master their world through play and creativity, it really helps to build their confidence and give them resiliency, which we ultimately are helping them to face challenges that they might have in the future and remain resilient in those challenges. And so as we're creating play through activities with the Cloverbud program, just a reminder, and I know a lot of these are just reminders for all of you because you come with a wealth of experience in working with Cloverbuds, but of course we want to keep it fun and positive. And it's more leader directed at this stage for youth. So unlike our teens, where we might have teens teaching other youth activities and really empower them, or have teens teach one another, at this age we don't necessarily have a Cloverbud lead an activity, and rather we lead the activity. And obviously I've said the word activity a lot, so many of our sessions are activity based. And then one hallmark of the Cloverbud program is we typically look for it to be non-competitive, success-oriented, and group-centered. So at this stage of life for our Cloverbuds, they're really fascinated by learning the rules and rituals of things, but they're not necessarily ready to accept losing. And they're also becoming aware of the opinions of their peers. So that's really of importance. And so when we are planning activities, we're looking for things that are like cooperative games where we can find a measure of success for each child's experience. And if they're taking part in an activity and something does fail, we help walk them through maybe why, why the brownies didn't come out the way we thought that they would, or why when we built a structure, it toppled down when the wind blew, really talking about some of the kind of environmental phenomenon and how that plays. And at this age, youth also like things like sorting into categories, and that's why they find collecting things very fun. So comparing things of likeness and differences. And when you are structuring your activities, you also want to think about, they don't necessarily have the experience, their thinking is quite concrete. And so if they haven't experienced it yet, they have a hard time imagining it. And so in that way, it's good to lead by walking through an example, both visually and verbally. And finally, I always like to include this visual here of the do, reflect, apply. It's just a quick and easy to remember model in 4-H, since we are based on hands-on learning, experiential learning. But we allow youth to experiment and experience when they're doing an activity. And then we allow them to share what their results are, process, talk about the process and think about what they just experienced. And then we give them opportunities to kind of go off on a limb and think about, okay, we just had this experience, did this activity, and what does that mean for the rest of our lives? So in short, do, reflect, apply. And I hope that you'll find many of these pieces embedded in the Cloverbuds Connect program that Kimberly is going to give us a window into and walk us through and invite you all to take part in. Kimberly, can I pass it off to you?
Yes, please. Here. Thank you, Alice. And everyone, thank you for joining us. I think I'm just going to jump right into, well, I'll take a moment and then I'll jump right into a video for you all. So Cloverbuds Connect was born out of us all needing to be separated and wishing to connect to Cloverbud age group, but recognizing that what became typical virtual programming that we were doing for older teens wouldn't necessarily work with Cloverbuds, right? Much like this meeting, much of our older group programming was a Zoom call. So it's requiring us all to sit, pay attention, interact. Doesn't necessarily work for Cloverbuds. So we wanted to create opportunities that were virtual, but that also offered, that could be kind of plugged into and picked up at a time that works for families. And so Cloverbuds Connect, I'm gonna forgive me because I'm gonna like share a screen and then pop back and share a screen. So enjoy the ride. So Cloverbuds Connect runs off a platform called Flipgrid. This is a platform that's often used by educators. So you can see right here, it's asking for a student name. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in the one for my Cloverbud, or not, sorry. So that now we're inside the platform. You can see here my Cloverbud's name is Wes. And right here, you can see all the topics. So we started this, and forgive me while I scroll down, it's back way down in April with our first one as a smoothie, and then each week we created another topic. So I was able to collaborate with my colleagues here at UVM and some colleagues around the country, and we created short videos that provided some educational time, but also created a challenge for families to engage with. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and now I'd like to share with you a quick video so you can get a sense of what things really look like and how much fun we can have with it. So as you can see, we covered a bunch of different topics, and There were some blooper moments. The wind took over sometimes. And what we really tried to focus on is that these are not highly polished videos. We are not becoming YouTube stars. These are really homemade, engaging, real life videos. And then the call to action at the end is for families to try the project themselves and also make a video. That is something that Flipgrid as a platform also allows, is that once inside of Flipgrid, families can post their video inside of each topic. I will say that is something that we're really hoping to increase. We can see from our end that we're getting and folks are utilizing our content, but we haven't gotten to the point where families are posting their content back to us. And that's really the part that builds community in this virtual space. The other thing that, the other evolution of this is that we are hoping to invite teens to also be creating content, older youth to be creating content. So we do, I'm going to share my screen again. And apologies if you can hear, it's bedtime in my house. So we have just created Cloverbud Connectors, which is an invitation to youth who are 10, I should say, to all people, anyone 10 years and older. So recognizing that those preteens and tween ages may be passionate about a topic and comfortable and wanting to try out some video and presentation skills. But then also there's an invitation to you all as Cloverbud leaders to also create content and join this community of Cloverbud Connects. So I'm going to stop that share.
And Kimberly,
Yeah.
not to interrupt you, but I do see a really great question in the chat box, which is, how do you deal with supplies for projects? And does each family provide, or do you make kits?
And I want to say, Lisa may have answered that. We do try to make them simple so that families are making things out of things they might already have at home or that are easy to obtain. I will say I spent my whole summer making kits for thousands of kids. So part of me is like, ooh, we make kits. Nope, different project. We do projects within this that are out of things like you saw. Lauren made her dish soap, and then her bubble wand was an apple corer. And there was also a part when Wes and I were in the basement digging through recycling. So that's kind of the level of material acquisition we're aiming for. Great question. That might be kind of all I have to share. I will also share, I'll put into the chat, there will be a number of ways that we share with you all and encourage you to join this Cloverbud Connects community. I love alliteration. So here's my information. So for Cloverbud families to sign up, I also love Cloverbuds. Hey kiddos. It comes through me. So I showed you that first piece of signing in. So when anyone wants to join Cloverbuds Connect, it is kind of password or access code protected. And so you would email me, I create an individual access code for everyone. And then you're in and you have that entire library of videos, and we're adding to them regularly.
And one thing we'll do, we have a little glitch tonight with sharing the documents, but we can follow up an email to all of you with the flyer for both Cloverbuds Connect so that you'll have Kimberly's contact information. You'll also have a link to one of the very first videos, a welcome video made, so that way families can get a little taste from Cloverbuds Connect from that as well. And then we can also include the Cloverbud Connectors, which is the piece about if you're interested in creating videos.
I see a question from Michelle from Maryland. Yes, this is open to all Cloverbuds in all states. Absolutely. And I should say a lot of my content creation came from my colleague, Lisa. So Lisa, I want to offer you the chance to share a bit either about content creation or anything you want to share on the program.
Well, the video for me was a little slow, so I'm not sure if it was slow for everybody. But I like to have fun when I do my videos, and sometimes Kimberly has to pare them down into 2 or 3 videos because I talk too much, and I have a lot of props. I invite my pets. Sometime in real life, the dog might bark, the UPS man might come to the door. They all get to be part of my videos. I've had chickens join me. When I'm doing a video, I talk to the children. I sort of pretend that the iPad or the camera, whatever's filming me, is somebody that I want to talk to and that I care about. So while videos can be serious or fun, I like to have fun. So most of my videos, there'll be a little bit of fun into it, but really just think outside the box. I think we all have the skills to build anything for these kids. And our kids have the skills to build these for these little ones. So if you have kids in your programs, older kids, that could share, this is a horse, and a horse has 4 legs, and at the bottom of those legs are 4 hooves. You know, simple things like that, you know, some kids may never touch a horse ever. But if somebody could do a little 5-minute video on the parts of a horse even, I think that would be awesome. And we really, really would like to welcome you all, plus all of your friends, to make videos and or tell all of your Cloverbuds to connect with us. Each person does have their own ID unit to get into the Flipgrid account through Kimberly, which she put her email address in there, but we can all connect you to her. So please have fun with it and join us.
And I would just say one last piece is if you aren't comfortable with video editing, you need to be in bed. Like there's people from all over the East Coast and they all want you to go back to bed. I'm sorry, she will stop crying in a moment. Go ahead. I'm happy to help with editing. So if editing is not something that you're comfortable with and you've got 15 minutes of like, hold on, something happened, you can send me the raw file, I will edit it. So don't feel like that's a barrier. We are all in this together and I like secretly love editing down video.
So I just wanted to share that I took a moment and I grabbed both your Cloverbud Connect's call document and your Cloverbud Connector information. Both of those documents, I put links into the chat box. So hopefully everybody can open them up.
So my inbox is filling with folks wanting to connect.
Well, it may take like maybe 24 hours because, you know, people do have other things to do after this, like go to sleep and then share it out with everybody they know. Because I've already been texted with somebody else on the call from Maryland and we're already making plans for our state council members to do this.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, should we hand it over to Jen for our group activity share?
Great. Thank you, Kim and Lisa.